So what we'll be discussing is about nutrition response testing. We're going to be talking about the 5 barriers to your own health. So perhaps you're here because you have headaches, or perhaps you have digestive issues, or you have fertility issues, or you just feel yucky. You're tired, and you're tired of feeling tired and not so great anymore. We're going to be talking about the 5 reasons why that's occurring to you. And then we'll also be discussing about the nutrition response testing technique itself. Nutrition response testing was actually founded by Dr. Freddie Yulin. And Dr. Freddie Yulin is a chiropractor. The technique is based on Chinese medicine. And how long has Chinese medicine been around? Thousands of years. Japanese medicine, German medicine, and of course American medicine. So it's found in a lot of different techniques, and we give Dr. Yulin credit for putting everything together into a workable package that gets results. In 1990-ish, Dr. Yulin got very, very sick, and he was actually dying. And so he started researching different ways to get a body to heal, and at one point he was on 500 supplements. And that was just enough to get him to be out of bed 1 hour a day. He sent his blood work out. Some doctors were taking the blood samples of him. They sent it to the lab. The lab looked at his blood, and they said, this can't possibly be, something must have happened to his blood when the sample was taken. So go ahead and get another sample. And the same thing happened. They're like, well, his blood can't be this bad, because this is what we see on somebody who's dead. So go back and get another sample. And so they get another sample, and they're like, oh my gosh, is this guy still alive? And that's how bad his blood was. Okay? And so different nutritional means and eating healthy and doing part of the technique that was developed at that time got him back, and now he's alive today, and he's the head founder of this technique. In 2009, I got really sick. My hair was falling out, so I'd take a shower and there'd be like clumps of hair in the shower. I was really dizzy. I would get up and I'd be seated and I'd go to stand up and I would get dizzy. I kept gaining weight, so first it was 10 pounds, then it was 20 pounds, then it was 30 pounds, then it was 40 pounds, then it was 50 pounds, even though I was working out with a trainer twice a week. And I was also playing soccer on the soccer field, running at least 90 minutes twice a week. So I was exercising, I was doing all the things you should be doing to be keeping a healthy weight, yet I was really, really sick. And I was getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And it culminated with me actually getting up to get out of bed one day, and I basically collapsed back into my bed. And then the next day, the same thing happened. And the next thing, the same thing basically happened. And I begged my husband, please, you need to take me to a hospital. You need to take me somewhere because I am very sick and I think I'm dying. So he ended up taking me to an urgent care center, and they ran blood work there. They did a urinalysis there, so they looked at my urine. They ran a pregnancy test, and they did a thyroid panel, and guess what they found? Nothing. That's correct. They found absolutely nothing wrong with me. My blood pressure was great. My blood work was great. My cholesterol levels were perfect. On paper, I was in perfect health, but someone could have just looked at me and known that I wasn't feeling so well, and that my health was not optimal. They gave me a prescription for anti-dizziness medication, and they told me if I got worse, to come back and see them. At that point, I was so sick that I basically couldn't even stand, I couldn't walk, I couldn't see patients, so I really thought that I would have to close our practice down. That's how bad things were. I didn't really want to die in bed, so I decided that I would go and do the things that I knew. So I saw chiropractors, I saw naturopathic physicians, I saw acupuncturists, and all these physicians together got me to the point where at least I could walk and I could get out of bed, but my life was still pretty miserable. I had no energy, I felt horrible all the time. So basically, I didn't know what else to do. So I saw all these different physicians. They got me to the point where at least I could function, but I still wasn't healthy. I was still overweight. I was still tired all the time. I would have panic attacks. I was depressed. My hair was still falling out. Life was just pretty miserable. And I had an awesome husband, and I didn't know why he was married to me at the time because I was miserable. I didn't want to do anything. And so I don't know if you guys know anybody who's going through similar symptoms, or maybe you have some similar symptoms yourself, but that is not normal, and there's a cause to that. Okay? Well, one of my friends told me about nutrition response testing, and I thought, nutrition response testing, what is that? I had these doctors run all these tests on me. They couldn't find anything wrong with me in this weird nutrition response testing where they do muscle testing and they push on arms. That's going to find something? So I tried it, and I thought it was completely weird, and the person who tested me, I didn't even tell them everything that was wrong with me. I just told her, hey, I'm tired. And she found out all these other things just by using my body to test my body and see what areas of my body are working well and what areas of my body are not working well, but taking it to another level and finding out the why. So maybe you're sitting in this room because you are tired. Or maybe you're sitting here because you have headaches, or you have depression, or you have anxiety, or you have those things. Those things are not normal. There's a cause to them. Okay? And Dr. Freddie Ullin, the founder of Nutrition Response Testing, found that there's 5 main reasons why. Okay? The first reason why that people have ill health is due to food sensitivities. We are eating things that our body cannot break down. We're eating things that are not even food anymore, right? And there's a saying that we like to say in this office is that if your grandma doesn't know what that food is, your great-grandma, you take her shopping if she was still alive, if she doesn't know what the food is, if you have to explain the food to her, like, hey grandma, it's in this tube and you squeeze it and you drink it, if you have to explain the food to her, then it's not food. Okay? So food sensitivities in the form of dairy, grains, sugars, and others. Okay, so we look for people that have food sensitivities. And if you have food sensitivities, we can identify what those are. Okay? The next thing that causes ill health, so the second thing that causes ill health, is immune challenges. So an immune challenge is something that attacks your body. So that could be bacteria, that could be viruses, that could be fungus, and that could be parasites. So the body's always trying to protect us, but it's also under attack. If your immune system is suppressed, there's a reason why. Right? Parasites is something in the U.S. that's very often overlooked. If you have parasites, you might have signs of bloating. You might have irritable bowel, so you have bloating also combined with constipation. So sometimes you're bloated and you have diarrhea, and sometimes you have constipation. Sorry, we talked about gross stuff here too, by the way. You might have nausea. You might eat and then your stomach bloats out. Okay? You might have crazy, weird nightmare dreams, or dreams that you just remember all the details of. Those are signs of parasites. And where do parasites come from? They can come from walking barefoot. They can come from our pets. So little foo-foo, sleeps in your bed, you can get parasites from little foo-foo. If your kitty cat sleeps in your bed, you can get parasites from your kitty cat. So please, I have a yellow lab, I love dogs, I love animals. I'm not saying get rid of your pets. I'm just letting you know that your pets could be sharing parasites with you. You can get parasites from eating sushi. Anyone like sushi? No. I love sushi, but it's raw, okay? So you can get parasites from that. Anybody like their meat red and bloody? Me too, okay? But you can get parasites if you like to eat your steak or your meat red and bloody, okay? So a lot of our population has parasites, and the reason why no one's ever found it is they only come out in your fecal material. They only come out if you're actively killing them, or if they're laying eggs. Because parasites can go anywhere. I've seen them in people's eyes. I've seen them in their heads. I've seen them in their stomachs and their lungs and parts where they really shouldn't be. The third reason why everybody is ill is due to chemical toxicity. So if you look at your sheet, you can see the list of chemicals there. I'm going to point out some of the major ones or some of the ones that you may not be aware of. So you have acetates and acetones. So anybody who gets their nails painted or works with paint that you put on the wall, or is an artist that works with paint, you're going to get exposed to acetates and acetones. Chlorine. So here in Florida, we all have swimming pools. Okay, you put chlorine in the swimming pool, and you get absorb chlorine from swimming pools. You also absorb chlorine from your water supply. So some of you turn on your tap water and it stinks like chlorine. You may not even notice it anymore, but you have friends that come visit from another state and they're like, wow, your water smells weird. Chlorine. Okay, or you go out to a restaurant and you drink, water, chlorine. You'll actually absorb 10 times the amount of chlorine in a hot shower than drinking a glass of water. So I'll say that again. In drinking a regular glass of chlorinated water, you'll absorb 10 times the amount of chlorine in a hot shower. Why? Exactly. So the pores open and the chlorinated water comes into your system. Do you know the gland that's most affected by chlorine? Thyroid. The thyroid gland. So your thyroid gland really likes something called iodine, and there's not a lot of iodine in our diet anymore. So instead of using iodine, they'll bind chlorine to it, and it destroys the thyroid gland. Other things that bother us, so formaldehyde. So if you paint your house, if you get new furniture, if you put a new carpet, if you get a new car, that new car smell, it could be smelling formaldehyde. Okay? Formaldehyde gets in your system, it disrupts our health. Fragrances, anybody like the scented candles or plug-ins and sprays, Febreze, stuff like that? Perfumes, colognes, all that stuff. stuff is heavy chemicals. Heavy chemicals, if you inhale them, if you put them on your skin, and then where do most women put perfume? Right on that thyroid, right? Okay. Heavy chemicals, hydrocarbons from your car, medications, pesticides, petroleum solvents, so anything that can be found in skincare, laundry, and house cleaning detergents, plastics. So if you drink out of plastic water bottles or you heat your food in the microwave in plastic dishes, you're going to absorb plastics in your system. Preservatives, anything that's in a packaged food is preserved. And then radiation. So radiation could be from your cell phones, it could be from your computers, it could be from your big screen TVs. That gives off radiation, and the radiation has a negative effect on us. I don't know if you guys have ever been talking on your cell phone and your hand feels weird afterwards, or it feels hot. That's radiation. That is not good for us. So that is the third cause of ill health, is chemicals. So I'm not telling you guys this because I'm trying to make you depressed, or I'm trying to tell you you have to live in a bubble. I'm just telling you, if you're having symptoms, it could be coming from some of these sources, and we can find out the cause. We can find out which ones are bothering you. Okay. All right. The fourth one are metals, and this is what I had. This is the reason why I was so sick. The cause of all the symptoms that I had was because I had a heavy metal toxicity, and that heavy metal toxicity was from mercury. Okay. And we'll talk about where mercury comes from. Okay. So aluminum. Anybody who uses an antiperspirant, so if you're using a deodorant, it's an antiperspirant, the way that it blocks your sweat is it puts aluminum metal in your pores. And sweat can't come out if there's aluminum stuck in there, okay? So aluminum. And then ladies, a lot of the breast tissue is underneath your armpit, okay? So if you're using an antiperspirant, you're sticking aluminum in your breast tissue. What does that lead to? Breast cancer, okay? But you also can get that from aluminum cans, kitchen utensils, paints, and dental composites. That's when they mix it up for your cavities and they stick metal in your teeth. Okay? Arsenic, so poisons, pigments, dyes, insecticides, wine, and well water. So sorry guys, there's arsenic in wine. Antimony. Antimony is found in most pigments and medicines. Cadmium, water from galvanized pipes, evaporated milk, shellfish, cigarette smoke, sewage, sludge, paint, and air pollution. Chromium, you can read out where that's from. Copper, it can be found in beer. Sorry, guys. Gold, iron, lead, manganese, mercury. So mercury you can get in dental fillings. So if anybody has silver fillings, those are actually mercury fillings, and they're not healthy for you. Okay? But there's a very specific way to get them out of your teeth. You don't want a regular dentist to do that. Okay? We can help you with that. Mercury vapor lamps. Does anybody have those swirly light bulbs? The compact bulbs? Yeah, I totally had them because I thought they were good. They give off mercury vapor. The fish gets a bad rap. You don't really get a lot of mercury from fish, but if you're having problems with mercury, stay away from the larger fishes like tuna. Okay, try to eat smaller fish because they're going to be less polluted with mercury. Water, skin lightening cream, sewage sludge, vaccination. So vaccinations is a hot topic right now, but unfortunately, that you can get mercury from vaccinations. And high fructose corn syrup. So where do you find high fructose corn syrup? Everywhere. So it's in cookies, and it's in candy, it's in ice cream, it's in ketchup, it's in salad dressing, it's in every single regular soda. Every single regular soda has high fructose corn syrup in it. It is bad news. Nickel is found in cigarettes and dental crowns. Silver, dental fillings and jewelry. Tin, so in tin cans. Titanium, pigments and paints. Preservatives and medications. Tap well water. Dental crowns and implants. And zinc is in poor quality inorganic supplements in food. So sometimes when they enrich with vitamins, they're putting in synthetic or man-made vitamins. Okay? So that's the fourth cause of why we are so sick, or why our population is not as healthy as we could be, is we have all these metals that are in our environment polluting us. The fifth stressor, so a lot of people are not aware of this stressor, or not aware of this cause of ill health, and it's scars. Isn't that crazy that a scar can cause a problem? So first let's define a scar. A scar can be anything from surgery, any injury. It can be your umbilicus, which is your belly button. It could be, so and your belly button is because you were attached to your mommy with the umbilical cord, right? And then it was cut, and then it formed your belly button. So So when that was cut, the cutting of that tissue forms a scar. And your belly button is actually a scar. Piercings or tattoos. Why tattoos? Well, you have a whole bunch of little needles that are jabbing in the skin. And then does anybody know where the color comes from for tattoos?
Ink.
Ink. And what's that ink made out of? Metals.
No.
And chemicals. So a tattoo is a chemical and metal scar. Doesn't sound so pretty anymore. Yeah, but we get them anyways. Piercings, so piercings are scars. Vaccinations, you can have irritation in the skin for vaccinations. Circumcisions, episiotomies, C-sections, excuse me, tooth extractions, tonsils, stretch marks, chicken pox, or any disturbance on the skin surface. And a lot of our nervous system fibers are in our skin. So you have something that's interfering with that electrical field, it can throw off anything in our nervous system, because our nervous system controls our heart and our lungs and digestion, reproduction, and all that good stuff. So for me, it made me nauseous, it made me tired, it made me kind of depressed. And when we found out that scar was causing problems, we started applying organic vitamin E to it, and as soon as that was happening, all that stuff went away. Pretty interesting. So the fifth cause of ill health can be due to electrical disturbances that we call scars. Okay? So when we find these 5 problems, what we do is we look for the problems, we look for the causes of ill health, and then we fix them. And we fix them with nutritional response testing. So what I would like is someone who's up in the front that I don't know, that's not currently a patient here. I'd like to do a little demonstration. Hi, I'm Dr. Palmer.
I'm Renee Williams.
And have I met you before?
No.
Okay, good. And I'm not paying you, right? Okay. So what we're going to do today in the office is called nutritional response testing. This is just a demonstration of what we do here, okay, just to show you guys. Okay? And in order to do that, I need to film. He's filming. I need to test. You're doing great. I need to test a lock muscle. Okay? So I'm going to have you bring your arm up. There you go. Straighten out your arm. Yep. And what I'm going to do is turn right. There you go. Pretty easy. Okay, good. Is I'm going to apply a downward pressure, and I need you to match my pressure. Okay? Good. Do you feel that? Okay. Do you feel how this gets tight in your shoulder? Okay, good. And what do you call that? I didn't tell you yet. That was me. Okay. Okay. Match your pressure. Good. Do you feel that tight right there? We call that a lock muscle. Okay, good. So I'm going to have you try this side. Match your pressure. Good. And then just give me a little less pressure because you're really strong. Match your pressure. Good. And do you feel how that gets tight in there?
Yeah.
And what do we call that?
Lock muscle.
Perfect. Good. Okay. So there's a reflex point right here on the bridge of her nose, and when I touch that point, one side of my finger will cause the muscle to lock, and one side of my finger will cause the muscle to unlock. It's a reflex, just like if I were to hit below her knee, her leg would kick. Okay, except this doesn't kick. Okay, so let's see if hers is working. You okay with that? Okay. Match rate pressure. Good. I'm gonna touch right here. Match rate pressure. Good. Match rate pressure. Good. Match rate pressure. Good. Match rate pressure. Good. Do you feel that? Match rate pressure. Good. Match rate pressure. Okay. So when your arm goes down, that's called the unlock muscle. It's good. It means I can test you. Did you guys see that? Okay. Interesting, right? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch different points or reflex areas on her body, and we're going to see which ones are working well and which ones are not working well. Good. So I'm going to just touch here. Match rate pressure. Good. And I'm just testing to see which areas of her body are working well, which areas of her body are not working well. And I get here, and she's saying, okay, I get here, and that's not working so well. So the body's arm drops. Okay, so I'll kind of explain that to you. So you can liken the testing to almost like hypothermia. So if I get to an area that's having issues, oh, nice scar.
Yeah.
Was that from some kind of surgery?
Right thyroid lobectomy.
Oh, okay. So there you go. So again, I've never met her before. This is the first time her and I are meeting. I don't know anything about her. And the first thing I find is thyroid. And she just told me she had a right thyroid lobectomy, meaning they took the right lobe of her thyroid off. There's no way I would have known that without this testing. Well, I could have asked her, but she didn't tell me that. Okay? So when I put pressure on this arm, the body has to make a decision. What's more important, the arm or the gland? Match my pressure, and her body's saying there's a problem in the gland. Can you guys see that? Okay? But if I touch her chin, is that okay if I touch that? If I touch her chin, her body doesn't care about that. I touch that gland, the body's saying there's an issue there, and it tells me there's an issue. Okay? I'm comparing her to her, not her to everybody else. Okay? So when I was sick on my blood work, it said it was perfect because the blood work compares me to everybody else's blood work. This compares you to yourself on what's good and what's not good. Because this is a glass bottle, and inside it is whole food nutrition. Because we get energy from our food, right? Okay, so this is not a medication. This is whole food nutrition. It's a supplement. If I were to stand in front of a glass window and the sun was coming through the window, could I feel the heat of the sun?
Yes.
Yes. How far is the sun from the earth? 93 billion miles away. Okay, so really, really far, but yet, even though the sun's so far away, we can feel the heat of the sun coming through the window. It's a physics principle. Just like the sun can come through the window, we can feel the energy that's in this food through this glass bottle. Okay, it's physics. Everybody with me? Okay, so I'm going to take this bottle, I'm going to place this right on her thyroid, and her body's going to say if it likes it or if it doesn't like it. What do you guys think? Okay. But if I take it away, it no longer has that nutritional support. And look at that. I put it back on, match my pressure, and it's super strong. Can you guys see that? She turns into like Superwoman. So I'm going to try a different supplement. So this is just a different supplement. Okay, and I'll place this right on her thyroid. Oh, I'm sorry. Match my pressure. You guys see that? Okay, she doesn't like it. So some of you guys are like, whatever, she's just pushing too hard. She's not pushing as hard, blah, blah, blah. And that's the same thing that I thought too. Okay, so if it's okay with you, I'm going to push really hard. Okay, ready? Do you have a shoulder problem or anything? No. Okay, good. Ready? So match my pressure. Rah. Okay, you guys see that? Wait, she wasn't ready, right? Ready? Match my pressure. Okay, okay. And then we're going to put the supplement on that she liked. Match my pressure. Can you see that? And then we're going to try that other supplement that she didn't like. Match my pressure. Ready? Okay. And you want to see why you don't like that supplement? Can you read it? Prostex, yes. So she's a lovely lady. Prostex is for prostates. Okay, so I didn't tell her what this was. She tested it, and her body said, no, I don't have a prostate. I don't need that. Well, when I gave her the exact right thing, her body remained really, really strong, and it said, yes, that may be able to help my thyroid heal naturally with whole food supplements. Sound cool? Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. So that was a demonstration of nutrition response testing. And in this office, we just don't stop at the thyroid. We go down and we check all the different organs and glands. So we check the heart reflex and the lung reflex, digestion, all those different reflexes. Okay? And what we do is called nutrition response testing. We find the cause of the problem. So she had a cause to why her thyroid's not working properly. It could be from a food. It could be from an immune system. It could be a chemical. It could be a metal. It could be a scar. Okay? And we look for that. We look for that through the use of test kits that we have. Okay? And then once we find the cause of the problem, we design a clinical nutritional program for that person that's specific for that person. It's unique to them. So we don't give everybody one thyroid is the same thing. We find and we test a very specific nutrient that your body needs to heal itself. And because we're looking at the body as a whole, and we're not just targeting one area, we're not just working on one organ, we're looking at the body as a whole system, nutrition response testing helps to improve your overall health. So we have some patients that come in for headaches, but they have more energy, or their mood is better. We have little kids that tell their mommies, oh, thank you, Mommy, I'm glad that you're working with Dr. Palmer because now you're nicer. Or now you have energy to play with me. Okay, so we've heard that more than one time. And then we have some patients that the reason why they have kids is because they're doing nutrition response testing because they were called infertile before. Okay? And because we use whole food nutrition, it's safe and it's natural. So our youngest patient actually is over there, my daughter. Our oldest patients are in their 80s and 90s. And because we're not using medications and because we're using supplements, they don't interact with medications either. Or what they might do, they might lessen the need for medications. Does that make sense? Okay? And in some cases, patients don't need to take their medications anymore.